Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tom McCardell from Elbows Up Dirt Productions. That's right, Elbows Up Dirt Productions. Here we are in Edders, Pennsylvania, ladies and gentlemen. We made a little journey here like we promised you we'd make, and we've been making several journeys here throughout the winter and connecting with a lot of these race car drivers or race teams or owners or crew members. And we know you, the fans, the viewers out there, love to see what's going on and hear from them. And before we get going, once again, this is sponsored by Freeze Motorsports. That's right, the ultimate leader in Legends car racing, located in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, and Onyx official dealer, and then TRW Race Cars. Tom and DJ Myers building safe, affordable, competitive dirt late model chassis. Now we're here, like I said, in Edders, Pennsylvania, and we're looking at the end of February, and everybody's getting antsy about racing, and that's a good thing. That's a real good thing, and we appreciate you tuning in. You guys have been real loyal to us, and we were with us here. We were Bone Breaks shop, or I'm sorry. Right shop with Bone Break there the other night, and now we got a different guy sitting on here. We're at a different shop, and flanked to my left here is Greg Diehl. That's right, Greg Diehl, and his machine, his hot rod, which we'll talk about and take a look at here directly. The number 80D, okay, is right behind us. And the shop we're in Rick Lutz's shop. That's right, Rick Lutz's shop, and we're here in Edders, like I said, and these guys right here obviously are together on this deal, okay, as we talked before, in the super late model deal. And, the super late models, need I say more? Obviously, it's a hard cookie it's a cookie that's crumbling a lot, and to see guys continue to make their way as super late models and put their time in it is remarkable. And that's what we need to keep things going. Now, one thing I got to point out, and you were telling me about this, you know what I'm saying? You were telling me about this, but your cohort here, Rick Lutz, Rick Lutz, correct me if I'm wrong, his brother is Jeff Lutz of the Street Outlaws TV show, correct? And, I hope he doesn't get mad over me putting that out there, you know what I'm saying? But, no, I think that's pretty wild. It's a small world we live in, But, Greg, how's things going here this evening?
Good. First of all, I might have told you some bad information. Rick and I are partners on this, but Jim Magilton opened up his garage to us, so we're actually at his garage. Okay, I got you. Rick and I did start this together. So, okay. Yep, I just wanted to – I probably told you something wrong in the beginning.
No, that's okay. It takes a good man there to bring that up. You know what I'm saying? Well, Rick, I apologize for that. We get so many names and people going on, but the bottom line is we're here at Rick's shop, okay? In Edders, I'm sorry, Jim's shop in Edders. I'm getting names all messed up. Jim's shop in Edders, and Rick Lutz and yourself have this deal together with the super late model team, and that's where we're at. So we're going to leave it at that before I get it twisted up. Now, taking a look at this race car we come in here, it's beautifully wrapped, and we got to throw that out there. Richie Dobson, right? Richie Dobson doing his thing on the wrap, and the car looks absolutely phenomenal. It was at the York Racing Extravaganza. It looked absolutely phenomenal there as well. And this is a special deal. All these deals are special, but this deal to me, and I'm sure it's to you and everybody a part of it, is super special because it does one thing. It honors veterans, okay? And I want you to talk to me a little bit about what that mission is. Off track to me is just as important as on track, okay? And so I'm gonna have you take the mic here, share with the viewers here a little bit about how you honor the veterans with this super late model.
Well, first, full credit goes to Rick. I mean, when him and I got together and decided to do a race team, he said, we're going to do it for a purpose. And he had so many years on the road with his brother, and he brought so much to me that I did not understand with racing. And my whole family were veterans. I was not. I went to college instead. And it didn't really hit home with me until I got involved with him. And he volunteers with the Veterans Fishing Adventure and does so much for them and other veterans. And I went to one of the events and I was hooked. Same with my son. He went with me, and we just knew it was something special. I'm even getting goosebumps talking about it now. Until you're sitting there with these people, and one of the guys we got honored to sit with was the original Green Beret. Was it Colonel Davis? Yeah, Colonel Paris Davis. And to hear his story, and it was so moving. And then, for Rick, with Rick's advice to roll into this purpose with racing, it's gained so much traction. Like our employer, Ambient, they jumped on board. Our other sponsors jumped on board because who am I as a racer? I wasn't even in a late model more than 11 times. So people jumped on board with this, and it's contagious. So full credit goes to Rick on that.
Yeah, and that's heartwarming. It truly is. Obviously, our veterans, it means so much dear to our hearts, in this wonderful country we live in called the United States of America. And to do these things and then to portray and support it, and that's amazing. You do a lot, and I see you doing a lot on Facebook where you're attending events that obviously are involved with veterans. The race car, it's out and about there. People are starting to put the two and two together. The race car is a platform, and you use that race car to obviously drive your mission, off the track. And I think that's phenomenal. Now, Greg, you were saying 11 races, obviously, and we were talking earlier here in the pre-race, I like to call it the pre-race area, you know what I'm saying? After we got done eating pizza, which, we come here, we get fed. You don't get any better than that, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you that, you know what I'm saying? Take notes for all future, visits like that, But, and I like to eat, But 2 years, this will be the second full season, correct?
Yeah, I mean, full season to us is, well, last year full season was 7 or 8 races. Obviously, these cars are expensive, time. I have a great crew here that helps me get to the track, but you need money. And this year, Rick did a real good job with bringing some sponsors in, some money. It's going to allow us to take care of our crew and pay for tires and get to some more races. So I'm learning. I need more seat time, and we plan to hit it a lot more aggressive this year.
Yeah, I tell you, last year I was able to, watch you race at Sealings Grove, and we were talking earlier and with some of the crew guys, and yeah, the bottom line is, I mean, you increased in speed last year. There's no question about it. Your driving grade, if you would be, we call it that, it went up, in a positive direction. And once again, that's all about seat time and being comfortable, behind the wheel, no matter what you're doing. You know what I mean? No matter what you're doing. And the race car, I seen it last year with some pretty competitive people. You were holding your own, and that's something to super be proud of. If you look back on your history of racing, I believe you have mentioned that you have some street stock time in the past there that you wheeled the race car.
Yeah, so to go back further, I ran motocross for a little while, did some drag racing motorcycles. My wife said enough of that. Got into street stocks, did that for about 15 years. Never ran a full season. I never ran for points. Just didn't have time with family and money and everything. So won a bunch of races, but never won a championship. And it was never my goal to win a championship because I knew what it took, and I knew that I couldn't dedicate that time to run full seasons. So 15 years street stock, and then never drove a limited, went right to supers.
Well, yeah, I mean that's quite the hurdle. You know what I mean? That's quite the hurdle, and the whole team and yourself have a lot to be proud of, obviously. And Sealings Grove's a beast. Sand Hill, it's on the move up there. And looking at scheduling this year, I would be safe to say that Sealings Grove's gonna be a go-to for you guys. And is there any other places you think you might be bouncing around at?
Well, we're gonna hit most of the races there. We're gonna hit what Port has to offer. We're looking forward to 10 minutes from here going to BAPS for the Lucas show. Ran a lot of laps there in a street stock. Rick lives near Lernerville, so we're thinking about trying to get out there around his family and friends. So far that's what we have penciled in, and I think tentatively maybe it's fair to say like 20 races we're planning on, and then we're going to fill in as we see opportunities.
Yeah, I mean that's a good deal. Obviously it's no big secret that the super late model racing is kind of few and far between here nowadays, and we look to the folks like the Schicks, at Ceilings Grove to keep the fire burning per se, and that's great. Port has some shows on, but Ceilings Groves is giving the mother load right there when we talk about super late model racing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, I'm Tommy Cordell from Elbows Up Dirt Productions. We're here at Folded Flag Racing, and I like that. That's a good name. I like that, Folded Flag Racing, and the driver, and I'm going to call co-owner, okay, with Rick Lutz, is Greg Diehl to my left here. And, he's explained to you all a little bit about what Folded Flag Racing is and how they honor the veterans, and I think that at the end of the day, what you guys do, obviously you want to finish races and do super good and, and be the best you can be, but the mission at the end of the day is the mission, and that's Folded Flag Racing and honoring our veterans of the United States of America in all branches of service, and that's highly commendable. Longhorn chassis, okay, and it sounded like motor-wise, you had a Pro Power here, a Ford Pro Power motor that's going to be moving this hot rod around.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough when I bought this car, got together with Larry Bear, and I believe it was Max Blair that he sponsored, so we bought his motor and had it rebuilt over the winter last year. Tom Barron did that for us, got us ready to go, and he's going to come down here and do a little tuning on it to get us started. So that's, we're a one-car team, one motor, so, we got to make sure it lasts and stays together for us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you're actually, I want to put this, it's a rare breed per se, one car, one motor, okay, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Quite frankly, that's what used to make the big wheel go round and round all, years ago. That's the way it was, and for you guys to come together like this is absolutely great. Once again, Richie Dobson, he did the work on this car. It's absolutely phenomenal, and we're going to take a look at that excuse me, here in a minute. And, crew-wise, this is a shop night here, right? This is a shop night. Do you feed these guys every night like this?
Well, one thing that me and Rick said from the beginning, anybody who helps us out, we're going to take care of them. And part of that is feeding them. And you've seen they turned out tonight. And, that's our deal. We take care of our crew, because without our crew, we wouldn't be able to get to the track. And, we got Austin Jones here. I've known him for quite a while. He came on board with us, and, we're treating him good. He's doing a great job. One of his friends came on board as a sponsor. Dwayne just joined up with us last week. He helped us out with one of his friends, brought a sponsor. When you take care of your crew, they take care of you, and I got to thank everyone. We got Bubba. Bubba's the one that always yelled at me and told me that I was a sissy with lifting going into the corners. He does our shocks for us, and he's my motivator. Obviously, my son. There's something about being buckled in your car by your son and giving that fist bump before you go out. That always means something. Jim, he, gives us his shop. He's our electrical engineer. He takes care of everything. He keeps us straight, keeps the records, and we're blessed to have his shop. I am blessed to have this crew, and, without a good crew, you can't get to the track. And obviously, Rick put this in motion, so, thanks goes to him as well.
Yeah, I tell you, a lot of familiar faces when I walked in here on your pit crew. I always see Bubba, him as Bubba and Dwayne, you know what I'm saying? And, I finally got to meet, I heard about this guy, you know what I mean? Well, I didn't even hear about him. Heck, I don't even know. I didn't know who he was. He said, that's Sean Jones' son, and there you go. Sean Jones' son sitting right here. Sean's obviously right now in Florida, right? With Justin Weaver in 32J there. They're running down there where are they at tonight? Is it Ocala, or they're at Ocala right now? They're at Ocala right now. And that's a tough grind, too, down there, But, and I've been here to this shop before, and bought some parts in the past, And if we will, this shop right here, there used to be the Jones machine was in here. Everything was set up like that. It was kept here. And so there's a lot of This is a racing garage. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other things going on, but this is a racing garage on this side. You can clearly tell that. And, that's good. You got, man, a lot of guys would die to have a third of the amount of guys you have sitting here, with you. And that's wonderful. And that support goes a long way. And I'm sure, like you said, it means a lot to you, when you're the guy buckling in at the end of the night and all eyes are on you. You know what I mean? Your team's there for you and coaching you on. Talk to me a little bit about some of the sponsors that you got on the car this year.
So, first is Veterans Fishing. That's near and dear to our heart. That is the whole point behind this, and Rick goes down there. He's going down there tomorrow to help out with whatever they need. He's like a counselor, and he helps take care of them. So that's the start of our mission. That's the number one. Our employer, Ambient, that employs both Rick and I, they're going to be stepping up this year and helping us out. They like our mission. They had us down to Arlington last year for a big veterans thing where they brought people in all over the country and asked us to bring our car. McClure Company came on board last year. Big help. Jim brought in Baker Door. We got Right Away Powder Coating. And I'm trying to think who else I might be missing here. Oh, my son's company, Alec Diehl Plumbing and Heating. And I'm thinking of what's that? Oh, I said a while ago about Austin bringing in one of his friends. That's BS Construction. Okay. So big shout out to Artie. He comes over. He's actually helping in the shop certain nights when he can get here. So that's a big help. And again, we put a sticker on the car, and he's going to help us get to the track.
Well, I tell you what, you sound like you got a good solid lineup there of sponsors going on for you. And that, let's be honest, these things ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying? And it takes.
I got to give you a little shout out. So over the winter, me, Jim, and Dwayne came down to your what do you want to call it? Your sponsors seminar, and we were there and we learned some things and we used it. And you saw you heard the list that I just mentioned, and we used some of your tactics and examples, and it just led to more and more. And Rick as well, he's out there grinding for us and bringing them in. So shout out to you for helping us out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys attending. We're going to continue to do those and help because, everybody always says, what's your goal? Why do you do what you do with Elbows Up? And it's simple. We support racing, and we want racing to continue to flourish on the local, regional level, okay? We can watch it on TV all the time, and it's nice to watch it on TV, but the bottom line is it started locally, it was grown locally, and that's where it will end, okay? That's how important it is right there. Now, we brought you a little some. We've been doing some here. Fast Freddy's put something together. We got these designer valve caps. What do you think? Elbows up on them right there. Yeah, there's 4 of them. You throw them on the car, you'll knock tenth of a second off your time. I can guarantee you. Yeah, I'll give at least. You ask some of them that's been running it, they've knocked a tenth of a second off their time. Them valve caps right there. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you tuning in. I'm Tommy Cordell. Elbows Up Dirt Productions. That's right. Brought to you by Freeze Motorsports and TRW Race Cars. Tom and DJ Myers building quality dirt late model chassis race cars. And flanked to my left here is the driver, co-owner of this operation, Mr. Greg Diehl, and he'll be in his. We're going to call it second season. We're going to call it that second season. And 20 races. Yeah, that's a lot. You know what I mean? People don't realize if you say quick, it don't sound like much, but 20 races is a lot. Do you get done? These things are not a one night take care of machine. Okay, there's 2 or 3 nights involved here, but you keep feeding these boys like that, you know what I'm saying? And they keep, heck, I might even come up, a little bit more often to Edders, Pennsylvania, but one thing I would like to do here is we're gonna get up here and let's walk around and let the people see this machine. Okay, I know they want to see it, and Freddie's gonna follow us around here. Fred, you doing good? Are we all okay? Fred says we're good. Okay. Yeah, we're taking a look here, and we got the McClure Company there, Ambient HVAC Collective. Beautiful car, beautifully done up. And like I said, it was at the York Racing Extravaganza, and it stuck out. It was beautiful. And then we'll cruise on back here and take a look here and get a good visual on this. Beautiful powder coat job on this race car. And once again, it's a Longhorn chassis. That's right, it's a Longhorn chassis. So there'll be horns up this year. There'll be horns up.
I did forget one of my sponsors there. I apologize. Mountain Land and Sea. They came on board to help us out. Plus, they put me and my family on a trip to Florida last year. So give these guys a shout. They did a good job for us.
Okay, Mountain Land and Sea Travel. There you go. And Fred, let's take a look at this right here. We got all the branches right here. Okay, folded flag racing, ladies and gentlemen, for their veterans and the support that they give to them. That's. I know you want to win races, but you wouldn't have to win anything from here on out. And what you do, you have won before you left the shop, my friend. You have won before you left the shop doing what you do.
Well, when you look at the competition that we got to go up against, winning is a goal, but how realistic is it? With someone I don't have that much experience, we're probably down on power and, I'm learning. But when you look at this and you think about that every time you go out, like I told our team when we had our team meeting in the beginning, when we go to the track, we're there to race. But number one, we're going to have fun. Number two, we're representing something bigger than all of us. Mm-hmm. We're not going to yell at each other. We're not going to yell at other teams. If I go out there and don't do well or whatever, we're not going to have a fit. We have a bigger cause here. Yeah. But yes, I do want to win. I'm a competitive guy, but this class and this competition is going to be tough.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I tell you what, we'll slide over here. We'll have Fred. He'll peek down the side there. The car's on the lift here. It's always nice to have these rotary lifts to pick these cars up, and Fred's getting a good visual on that. And, yeah, very nice. Now, you were telling me that the car is, you got to fire it off, and I guess setup-wise, are you guys pretty close to go practice?
Yeah, Bubba works with Nick. Shout out to Nick Tressler. We got most of our shocks today. So we're going to smash them, get them on, and Tom Barron's going to come down and give us a little tune-up, and we're ready. So hopefully the weather breaks in a week or two. We're going to be on the track.
Good deal. I hope we're all on the track in a week or two. That everybody's tired of winter, and you watch them race down in Florida. It makes you even more antsy as far as wanting to get, racing around here. I know the icebreaker is going to try to happen with the sprint car people, right? They come from a different planet, right? Yeah, I'm just teasing. They're good people. We're all good people. But no, they start this weekend, Saturday and Sunday in Lincoln, and the following week, BAPS, there's practice next week, and then BAPS is going to open up the following week, I believe on the 7th, when their racing schedule. So it's getting there. It's getting there. Well, I tell you, I really appreciate you taking the time, and we thank you for having us up here to talk about your race team, your race car, the mission with Folded Flag Racing and everything that you got going on, Greg. And we wish you the best of luck this year in your racing endeavors.
Well, appreciate you coming here, and we want to get our mission out. And this year, like I said, we're getting more and more support. So we're going to open some things up and follow us on our Folded Flag Racing page, and stay tuned for what we got in store.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another remote visit is in the books, and like I said, we love doing this and bringing it to you, the fans. That's right. Without our sponsors, we could be doing this, and we appreciate all them. Hey, we'll be seeing you here in the next couple days. I can almost assure you that we're going to be out on the road, and we got a couple more stops going into the weekend to make. So look for us live and keep tuning in. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you do it with big energy, and you do it with elbows up. I'm Tom McCardell from Elbows Up Dirt Productions. You have a good evening. We'll see you at the racetrack.